Isn't it about time for somebody's favorite radio program?
Holy Testicle Tuesday
was the most important day of your life.
It was Tuesday.
But for me, it was Tuesday.
So now the wolf has a wolf pack.
Wrong movie, Pops.
This is a Ninja Scroll I haven't seen before. This is awesome.
It's not the same sort of body count.
I swear, this is the intro he gave me.
Lone Wolf McQuaid,
Awesome.
starring Chuck Norris, David Carradine, Barbara Carrera, and Leon Isaac Kennedy.
Chuck Norris is a ninja, right?
It's not my fault, I swear. Oh, there we go.
Each possessing a dark and deadly gift.
Rubies.
A ninja who work for the so-called Sultan of the Dark.
All that stands in their way, a solitary stranger.
Let's just call it quits.
Jubei Kibagami.
What a bunch of strange creatures they are.
GM and Tech in the back.
I have become as immortal as a true demon.
Oh my.
The snake.
Oh, Pops.
They do.
Ninja Scroll reaches critical mass tonight at 10 on the Sci-Fi Channel.
What do you think of that proposal?
Wow.
That was a surprise for us, ladies and gentlemen. He's like, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna start with a Mission Impossible or a MIA movie, and then we're gonna go to Ninja Scroll, but with butt naked ladies.
We don't get to use naughty language, but Pop gets to show anime boobies.
This is not knock any draws.
You're gonna need a bigger potion.
Gonna need a bigger something.
That's right. SQUEEKA!
That's me. I should see if Maki's doing commissions and get another picture.
I would be careful with that.
As careful as Pops is with his intros. Ooh, spicy.
You weren't there for Friday night. I had to take the stream down.
Okay, that explains a lot because I was trying to find, and I'm like, where is it? Am I gonna? Yeah.
No, at poof, gone. Yeah, welcome everybody to Pops's Talk Hard. Yeah, I am sitting in the booth, and I don't know what all these buttons do, but we're trying to get everything loaded. That's probably why you saw butts and titties in the intro, and Pops is in here, and he left me to work the board. Great.
I say we blame Ironcaster because he showed up last.
Yes.
I never get the push buttons here. Wait, let me push one here. Did that do it?
You're in charge now.
Oh,
I'm just watching.
Yes. I'm so glad.
Greetings and salutations, one and all, to Talk Hard. I am Pops, apparently.
Now you're not in charge anymore. Squeaky is.
Oh no!
This is fun. This
no. Oh no! You can't. No, this is dangerous.
Oh, this is fun. He's never gonna leave me the keys again. I swear. He's never gonna leave me. Let me rearrange everybody and okay.
Whoa. Hold on, I got an intro for you. No, I'm just kidding.
Spicy.
Go on.
What the heck was that?
It was not me, I swear. I'm old, but I'm not that creaky.
Oh, might be my mic stand.
Sounded like Lurch opening the door on the Addams Family. You rang. Okay. Today we're talking about Ninja Scroll. Go. I'm just kidding. Okay. He's gonna hate me. He's never gonna let me do this again. He's gonna be like, Loki, I should have talked to Ironcaster before the show. Pops messaged me earlier today and was like, hey, can you fill in? Do you know how to work EV Mux? I was like, I don't know how to work shit over on EV Mux. Oops, I already said a bad word. So we did a little try and error first thing this morning at like 9 a.m. And I kind of got the hang of it. So I'm here. We're here. Welcome everybody. We got so many cool people. We got Snorted Poops Cuber, Steven Ransom. We've got Claude Sandling in the house. What is up, Claude? We've got Penny. What is up, Penny? Steven Ransom. What's going
DJ
on,
Ronnie
brother?
G.
DJ Ronnie G. And we got a SQUEEKA mouse in the
Stone
house.
Cold Loki.
Stone Cold Loki is here. Pat S. What is up, brother? Jacob Ironside. Everybody's going to be like, don't ever leave Loki in charge ever again. Zax. What's up, Zax?
Zox a million.
Normally, I don't get to like peruse chat while I'm doing this, but Skull, brother. So it's kind of weird. I'm like, I'm here. I'm talking. I don't mess with chat. I don't read chat, but I'm trying to because you guys are important. And usually Pops does that, but yeah. So he ain't here. So I'm trying. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I do know Snorted Poops Cuber is my favorite polar bear on YouTube. DJ Ron G is an absolute madman. Zax knows what's up. Jacob Ironside is a winner. The winner of winners. That snake is coming out of. Oh wow, and that's the one where she's like, she is the most poisonous, and you're like, didn't that just? Well, that tracks. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Coming out of the flowers and the most poisonous. Yep.
So Beard watched this for the first time with me today, and he was like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's legit."
Eris watched it with me for the first. I was like, "You've never seen Ninja Scroll?" She's like, I'm like,
yeah.
So I've got shit. I don't have it in here. I've got the 10th anniversary DVD. I've got the Blu-ray. I love this movie. This is my favorite anime of all time. I like it better than Akira, Wicked City, all the stuff that came out in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. This is my favorite. I love this. I got it from Manga Entertainment when it was on VHS. I got the DVD, and then when the Blu-ray came out at Amazon, I was like, Blu-ray. So I absolutely love this movie. I've seen this movie at least 100 times. But 40 pieces of gold, Jubei? They're a poor little village.
That old man, I love him. He's the part where he's like, "That's an interesting tactic," and then the guy comes out of the branch. That's an interesting tactic too.
That's an interesting tactic too. I'm a tree. I'm a naked tree.
I love it.
Like, if he killed that old man, and then it's like, oh, there's nobody in the clothes. I was like, yeah, he's a ninja. He's like, two.
That's one of my favorite parts about this movie is the he goes up against these 8 guys, and they're supposed to be like super cool, and they introduce them like, look, I got these magic powers, and I'm some kind of bad A, and they say something that's like so braggery, and then they die.
Or they're like total and complete
Idiots.
and very rude too. I love the scene where they're talking about Benasato, and she's like, Benasato sleeps with Orgema too, and he's like, "Yeah," and then he kills her. I'm like, damn, you don't even have to take care of them. They can just kill each other. Just get them to turn on each other. Because apparently Gemma's like, Gemma just sleeps with everybody.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Jealousy, man.
Jealousy.
Don't make it. Don't irritate a jealous woman. You don't ever confess to that stuff.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
So, I guess we should probably start at the very beginning then.
Well, let me ask you. Have you seen this movie before?
Oh yeah, this is one of those. This is one of those movies that a young Ironcaster had seen. Probably a little too early, but yeah, this was that childhood friend who got to have access to all the cool movies that I probably wouldn't have gotten to rent on my own.
I meant there was some parts he watched more than others.
Oh, I remember quite a bit of this very fondly. And the thing is, right? This is let's set the stage here. This is this is the early '90s, the mid to late '90s. The internet really hasn't taken off. Anime is really starting that initial boom in the United States, and you have films like this that are coming out of nowhere. For for us growing up in the Midwest, where it's just like, hey, yeah, we maybe get to go see some little like horror movie, schlocky horror movie. They get to see a bit of movies, but then you get to see these movies like this. They're just completely over the top. These characters that are just doing all the most insane stunts possible. Slicing and dicing giant rockmen and twain. We're seeing like snakes coming out of all those hoo-has.
I'll tell you what. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, growing up in the '90s, what was awesome about this particular style anime coming out and coming across was it was this, and we also had like Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura. So you had Magical Girl anime, and then you had Ninja Scroll.
And I've said before, if it wasn't for Blockbuster and Hollywood Video, I'd have never seen a lot of these. But I had my own VCR, I had my own TV in my room, and I would go down and rent the VHS or whatever, and watch it. Well, I'm sitting there, and it's like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night or something. I'm sitting there and I'm watching this, and it's that scene with Tasai and the female ninja, who I can't think of her name right now. And he's doing what he is doing after the tongue thing. Yes. And I'm like, and my dad comes in and he's talking to me and he's like, he stops just like, and looks at me and looks at it. I'm like 14, 15 years old at the time. And goes, I don't ever want to catch you watching this while your mother's awake. He was very specific because they never bothered me. They never bothered me because my mom was like, so just like, I don't want any noise in my house. I want to watch the news in peace for 5 hours. For 5 straight hours, I want to watch nothing but the mainstream media. So she'd sit there and watch news like all night, and I'm in there watching. I didn't expect anybody to come in there. But yeah, if it was one of those like, let me catch you watching this again while your mother's awake. He knew.
Keep the sound down, keep the lights off, and don't let anybody in.
Don't crack that volume above 3.
Well, this and like Akira and Ghost in the Shell, like this genre
Wicked
of
City.
anime that came out. Wicked City. Those all came out. This was back when Alamo was still its own small little kind of microcosm. And they would show these like late at night. So that's when I first watched it, was at a big old Alamo. I don't think they do these animes anymore. They just do Ghibli's, but yeah. It was impressive on the big screen to see some of these scenes.
I can imagine. See, I never got that. I can't remember. There was an opportunity, but it was going to be like 500 miles away, and I just couldn't do it at the time. There was one opportunity to see this in theaters, but I would have had to go like 500 miles to see it. That was the closest theater that was shown. So it was always the manga movies for me. It was always the manga movies. I was a member of the manga club.
I feel like that was all of the ones they showed, but I mean, I don't remember if it was necessarily that specific, but I know that of the 90s and early 2000s animes, that's what they would do, is they would host just late night showings.
And there's just something magical about films that came along like this, that at the time we didn't, at least myself, certainly didn't have a name for this as a genre. But nowadays we would call these all like a dark fantasy. There's just, you're so used to a certain type of storytelling, especially in the States, where you have these, you got to have the happy ending because, well, audiences don't want to feel down, so we have to make sure our heroes go away, where everybody wins in the end. And movies like this come along and they just completely change that for you. Where you kind of walk away thinking twice about a lot of the stories that you've come to experience before. Thinking how much more impactful could they have been had we not had the happy endings.
Yeah. Yeah, but this wasn't really a happy ending either. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I don't want to talk about the end before we even start really talk about the beginning because we just kind of jumped into the middle of everything. Um, Samurai Ninja Warrior. I now understand they're two different things, but they kind of cross the streams in this movie. You've got the Koga Ninja team, and then you've got these guys called the Eight Devils of Kimon, and everything is going to get thrown in a blender, and we'll see who wins. The Eight Devils have this plan. They're gonna do like a heist. The Koga Ninjas have no idea that the guy they're working for is involved in all this, and they're about to get set up to be murdered. And then you've got this random element nobody saw coming, Jubei Kibagami, that is going to end up changing the whole game.
Well, and then there's the random chick who kind of defects, and
Yeah,
I think her skill set and her interactions with Jubei was another unexpected turn for the guys that were kind of alongside the whole thing.
I still didn't. Oh my god!
You can do it, Loki. You can do it.
I can do it. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
How about that? How about that? That's the best I can do. I understand that there is like a pro scene that Pops has set up, but I have no idea how any of that works. So, and until I become an expert at it, which I guess I'm going to look at, yeah. So this is the best we can do.
So for myself, this movie was an opening of a door for me. Like I was I was too young, and it had gone by all the ninja craze of the 80s, all the ninja exploitation movies, the ninja trilogy, like all those were basically tucked away on a shelf in the back of the video rental store. But they were movies I just had never had a chance to discover or know anything about. So for me, this was an opening into a lot of these ideas of Japanese culture, of the samurai, of the ninja. This was that way into this entire world of this crazy mythology and myth that I would have otherwise not known about.
What about you, Squeeka?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It went hand in hand. I watched a lot of different animes. Like there was another little series came out called Rurouni Kenshin at the same time. So it to me it's Rurouni Kenshin was more the storytelling side of the samurai world, and it kind of gave you an insight into the different classes and the Itos and things like that. Whereas this one was just it's kind of like what we would see now as the fantasy genre, like with the magic and the old geezer guy with his one long beard, the little
Those were
monk.
like a mainstay, like in this
Yeah,
whole generation. You always had some really old Yoda looking man with a beard.
but this would be like the difference between like a cowboy movie versus a steampunk fantasy cowboy movie. Like it would tell some of the story, and you'd get some idea of the whole ninja class and some of the ways of the ninja. But to me, I love the over the topness of some of the characters and their talents and their abilities.
Who would you say is your favorite?
Of the heroes or the villains?
Either or. Give us both.
Oh, well, I mean, I liked the old dude. I just thought he was funny. But I liked some of Juba's like his comedy where he starts off kind of like, I'm just a nobody. I'm going to give you these little quippy one-liners. And then he's like super serious at the end, like, you're going to go to hell with me. Rawr. Like super, super serious. But oh, the villains. I mean, I'm partial to snakes. I liked the snake lady, even with her
Benisato, yeah.
friends. But yeah, I liked her. The shedding skin part always kind of creeps me out, but still cool.
It's such a great creative use of these ideas to kind of take it to this mystic degree. Like, if she's basically imbued with all these snakes, it would only be natural that she's taken out these elements like them, where she could shed her skin and escape easily.
But it does give you a little bit of the Japanese culture as well. Like, you see the full body tattoos, you see the temples, you see the different backdrops, and especially like the coloring of the scenes. Like that one scene where he's in the, oh gosh, what's the guy's name that hides in the shadows with the chain? I can't remember his name, but that one villain, the backdrop for that, where it's just the black and the red and the coloring, like even with her fight scene, the colors they use. That I remember when this came out, back in the day, it was so cool for people to steal snippets and things and use them as backdrops on their computer or what have you. And the number of Ninja Scroll backgrounds there were, I couldn't count on 15 hands.
Yeah, and one of the things that's really amazing about this is you could watch this. You could watch it, you can watch and watch it again. There are people like my friend Chris, we were in our 20s when we were watching this one day, and he was like, I got it. And I'm like, what? And he goes, she's that rock dude's girlfriend. And I was like, well, she was sleeping with him and sleeping with Gemma. And he's like, that's why she was so pissed, and that's why she went after him. I know. I was like, yeah. There's little things that they go by so fast that you're like, you could miss it. You could watch this and catch something new even after you watch it like 20 times.
Well, and I think in the scene where there's all the snakes in the temple, isn't that the rock dude's face that's on the ceiling? Whose face is on it? Because it's not hers. Was it Genma's? You know where there's that guy's face on the ceiling made out of snakes?
Yeah.
Yeah. That might have been his.
I can't remember if it's Genma's or the rock dude's. But I think it was the rock dude's because I feel like it was her way of saying, like, this is
Remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what she was pissed about. That's why she wanted him. Why does it have to be snakes? Yeah.
Yeah, and the use of the snakes, like inside, like she had her tattoos, she shed her own skin. Then there was a lady's body filled with snakes. Then she had the face on the ceiling. I mean, she was very multi-talented. And then she had the snake out of nowhere.
The most deadliest snake, the hoo-ha snake. Son, ain't you ever heard of the hoo-ha snake? Very dangerous. I'm gonna poke it with a stick. I bet you are.
I bet you will.
Son, that's what we like to call trouser snake.
That snake
is the most venomous of all.
Nice save there.
Because the rats were busy, yeah.
Oh, you get some rat action a little later. Trust me.
And wasp. So each of these things, you've got these different demons that are all elements, like rock guy and poison and electricity and hornets.
Well, and then the shadow chain guy, and then blow him up girl.
And you also had the blind swordsman.
Gunpowder girl, that would be cooler.
I didn't think about this, but Hideo Kojima stole him in Metal Gear Solid 3. So there's a character that has that exact bit. He even looks like him. in Metal Gear Solid.
Oh. This lady. She cracks me up, as jealous as she is. Turns like the way that she just pops in and out. You don't really get to know her very well aside from her jealousy, but I like her little quips on like, "Oh, just the way I like it." You know, the smell of burning flesh. It's it's like, oh, okay.
Well, she gets into it too because
Oh
she's
yeah.
with one of her own because they're all fighting each other because she wants to get it on.
Well, she was trying to prove herself to Genma because she was angry at that one dude for
being gay and not sleeping with her.
That's
Yeah,
right.
pretty
She
much.
was like, "I want you. Let's get it on." And he was like, "No, I don't date chicks." Oh my god.
She's like, fine. Well, I guess you just happened to fall in my trap. Oh, well, don't worry. We took out the swordsman. So he just kind of got in the way.
Well, that's when she moused off and she's like, "I heard that he sleeps with the guy that he wants sleeps with Benesato, the snake chick." So when Snake Chick's fighting Jubei and gets killed with being electrified to death, yeah, that was our good old pal.
The great thing is each one of these characters is just has such an iconic, unique look to them that it becomes very difficult to mix them up. Like, I mean, she's got her kind of iconic scar, but she's also covered all the bandages here. You've got the rock dude at the very beginning, who obviously was very very stiff. He's got a very iconic larger than life look. We've got the kind of very effeminate gay guy who's electricity, who's kind of his own kind of uh, court royal aesthetic. And I think one of the more underrated ones who doesn't get enough appreciation, I think, out of in the wider scheme of things, this willowy thin blind swordsman.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're all meant to portray like a certain piece of the culture too. Like you've got the style, the samurai style difference between like this guy and the guy with the electrical cords, like the way they dress. And it's not just their costumes fit them as their personality. It's to show too like the different they're not I can't remember the name of the actual outfit. But the
Kimono?
that's I don't know if what the guys wear is called a kimono though. I think it has a different name. I feel like I should know this from all the anime I've watched, but just the way they hold their swords, the way they, the decorations used and things like
Oh,
that.
they're gi.
Yes.
Yeah, they're gi.
But I totally forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. I got distracted by. I was so excited. You said the word for me. I was like, "Yay! Thanks."
Yeah, and they're all demons. They say devils. If you listen to see, I only had the English version back in the day, so that's the one I always go to. Is the dubbed, not the subbed. Even though I watch the subs now because there are differences, and I like to kind of laugh at the differences in the subs compared to what they did with the dub. But they're devils. They're demons. The 8 devils of Kimons are supposed to be demons. You're supposed to think of them as demons. They're supposed to have supernatural powers because they're demons. If you're a Street Fighter fan, think about like 8 Akumas that are all different, male and female. The way the Japanese culture depicted it, it's so over the top, but it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be taken seriously.
And speaking of serious, that rock dude, his little throwing double blade thing that was awesome. And one of my favorite scenes is when he turns himself into like a little rolly wheel and crashes through the wall. That's what I'm like, you get it, boy. Take down those walls. Just the way he unfolds himself like a little snail.
Ninja art, roly poly.
Yes. That's a new that you should make your own roly poly guy.
Squeeka, that's like your favorite scene?
Oh, I don't know. It's my favorite scene. Oh, there's so many good scenes in this. Like it's hard to pick a favorite. Like I love. There's like I said earlier. There's so many scenes that have such great artistry to them. Like you could still it, and it would be amazing poster or amazing artwork on the wall.
Like
And
that right before that scene you were talking about, the ninjas jumping through the scenes or
mhm.
jumping through the trees. That's the first scene I ever saw of this, and it was in a preview, and I was like, that immediately made me go, I want to see this. That is beautiful. Seeing the ninjas just hop through the trees, uh, like they were just gonna go and raid a village or do something. Immediately made me go, that is badass. I've got to see
Yeah.
this.
Or even when they're in the pool and she sits there and she turns her face and she's got her tattoos all over her body and the way they purposely change the coloring so it's not realistic anymore, but it is art. In the scene, like I said, with the scene with the shadow fighting guy, and the chain. I can't remember his name. Oh, I feel like it starts with an S. But so like that iconic red and black scenery and some of the glimpses of Juba where he's like turns and looks eh, that coloring, like the way they do it. There's so many different pieces where it is 100% you could steal that and it'd be an art frame. Like where he's got this coloring and then it's got like the backdrop of the broken windows and things like that. You know, it so there's not I don't have a favorite scene like I would necessarily in a like a live action movie because to me this is like an anime plus a big huge art exhibit all at the same time.
Tarantino, eat your heart out.
Still can't stand that guy. Ruined Reservoir Dogs for me.
Really?
He sat next to me. My first ever showing of Reservoir Dogs. Yeah, he sat next to me at the Alamo, and I didn't know who he was, and he talked the whole time, asking me about the movie. And I'm like, "Will you just be quiet?" Yeah, yeah. I'm like, "Why don't they kick him out? That's their policy." Now I know why they never kicked him out.
Now, to be fair though, if it's his movie, he gets to ruin it.
True. But yeah, like I think it's prior to this, like when he first shows up in this scene. But like just the backdrop, the reds and the blacks, or the purples and blues and reds from like the bath scene with the snake lady, or even like this. Like to me, there's so many different art pieces that are stuck in with this anime, and I like the storyline too because I mean, this is right up my alley, and the blood helped.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Nothing like 90s anime blood rain.
Make it rain. Oh man, it's a movie. It's one of those movies where they could have used red as half the color palette just from the sheer amount of bodies they slice and dice up.
Well, that was part of this era was the over the topness of, the guy loses an arm and then the rock guy drinks it. I'm like, man, there's a lot of blood in that one little arm. Goodness gracious.
And I mean, he's drinking it. He's like glug 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 glug.
I'm like, wait, was he laying on that arm? Like, what happened?
Well, it's supposed to be. That's how over the top
Yeah.
they because all the if these especially if these are like written down and passed on, people can ramp it up and be like, I'm gonna make this a little more gory.
Well, sure, but a lot of that also does ultimately come back from Seven Samurai, which we've talked about before. Like they had messed up the blood effect, and it just created the fountain of blood, and that became the catalyst for so many other films that we've gotten it since then. That we have to have just we could basically have to pour out gallons of blood just for like a single kill, just to show you how gruesome it is.
I mean, in some of these anime, like this one, I expect a warning to go off on my phone about how much liquid there is coming up. I'm like, any minute now.
You're gonna need the splash warning and get the Gallagher sheets out.
So, Loki, so you say that this is this is your favorite anime, and you've had you have the 10th anniversary. So, what is your absolute? If you had to pick one scene, what is your absolute favorite scene?
Probably that whole scene with because that's, like I said, that's the first thing I ever saw. And I saw it in a preview and I was like, that looks so badass. So I was just waiting. I was like you, waiting for him to say it at the end of the movie. And you had to wait. I was not going to say it. Loki said he was going to say it, but he's not going to say it. And very end of the movie, he says it. No, you don't have to wait long. And you're in that scene and you see those ninjas jump through the trees and you're like, that is badass. It's animated badass. The characters are badass. It all looks good. And then all hell breaks loose. And you get that scene where he's drinking, or he cuts him in half, and not Jubei, but the guy before that was laying in the grass. And he takes the Koga Ninja Team chick. And that leads to him fighting Jubei. But that whole scene in the trees is just, you're just like, yes. If you were ever a kid and you were like, I'm going to run around like a ninja, and I'm going to have my little ninja sword, my little ninja Chinese stars and all that shit. If you played ninja when you were a kid, you see that and you go, that is beautiful. You can't not say it.
No, I agree. No, that is, I like the fact that they put that first, because that is what ropes you in, is the skill that you see them have with the stars, the jumping from tree to tree.
The fight.
Fight.
The fight with Tasai is badass.
Which one? There's so many badass fights.
He's just, well, there's like one hit kills where he's just like, and he throws his double blade, and it just lawnmowers people. It's just cutting them in half, cutting their arms off, cutting their legs off, sawing through the trees, and yeah, it's he just decimates them. Nothing's gonna touch this guy, and then this guy comes along and does that.
Plus, with everything we've kind of seen and set up, especially with all the '80s ninja badassness, the way they have these initial 12 Koga ninjas kind of set up, it seems like, okay, they're gonna be the badasses, and then here comes this like giant rock who's throwing a double-ended sword bigger than any of them, and he's just mowing these guys down, and he drinks their blood. Like, and at that point, you're like, oh, shoot, I have no idea what I'm in store for now, if this is how the movie starts.
And Dawn of Mutilation, absolutely. I was talking about that earlier, where I was like 15, and my dad caught me watching this and was like, "Yeah, don't watch this while your mother's away ever again," because they just, it's a cartoon, okay. It doesn't matter that it has a big ass label on it that's like 18 plus or whatever it was. Parental advisory warning is, I think, what we had back then.
Well, I mean, so many of those films that he just listed off were all touched by and I gotta have his name up here. Yoshiaki Kawajiri, because he was the director on so many of these films, part of Madhouse Studios. He touched Vampire Hunter D, Wicked City. This is all his fingerprints are all over these.
And it shows, because it all looks good. It all sounds good. Wicked City was the same way. I don't love Wicked City as much as I love this movie, but this is peak. They don't do this, not this good, not now, not without computers and easier shit. They didn't have all that shit to do that back then. They just made this. They made this. They made Ghost in the Shell. They made Wicked City, Street Fighter 2, Fatal Fury. They made a bunch of these kick-ass movies, and they didn't have all that extra crap that they have today. They had to hand draw it.
And it works. So much of this movie works. But if I had to be critical, if I had to say the weakest part of the film, it's probably going to be a lot more the actual larger meta plot of the world going on, because so much of that just falls by the wayside and is forgotten just for how flashy and how iconic these action scenes are. They are the star of this film that will draw you in, and then the stuff about the secret gold mine, all just kind of, you're like, you just sort of forget that ever existed, because ultimately those only serve the purpose of just getting us to the action.
Yeah, I think it's just. I mean, it really is just 100% there just to be like, yeah, we do kind of have a story, but we're really focused on these guys. So here's something that they can kind of attach themselves to, something that's going to have merit. I mean, in the end, it does work. The whole gold scenario thing, top tier. But I think it's written that way on purpose. Like, you're really not supposed to care about all the different fights between the what is it, shogunates. I think that's
Oh,
the name
the
of it.
Toyotomis and the
Yeah, you're not supposed to care about that. You're just supposed to care about, hey, these people are getting some gold, and haha,
We-
this person got betrayed, and no,
It
I
it's
Jubei
also it's
won.
yeah, it's ultimately a means to an end, just to have Jubei cut another dude in half.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I'm there. I'm there for it.
And I guess ultimately, if that's the biggest complaint I have, it's still a movie well worth your time.
and they had all kinds of like I'm pretty sure when they're talking about the Tokugawa government and the Toyotomis, because the Toyotomis lost and Tokugawa government won, but
Yeah, the token.
you,
Yeah, they came over.
you get depending on where you're from in Japan, there were stories about Tokugawas being demons and all these evil people that were gonna do all this crazy stuff, and then you had the Toyotomis that had the same thing. So both people had this stigma against the other that they were going to be the end of everything, that they were demons and they were evil people and yada yada yada. And I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be like leftover Toyotomis, the demons have come home. So it all goes back to their stories and their religion and what it was like before they modernized, when they were still in the samurai era, and everything's been blown out of proportion. And
Well, and they needed a hero to rally behind, so they're going to demonize the opposite,
yeah,
shogunate, and then the one guy who came back from the war or whatever, they're going to be like, oh yeah, he took down this general that was a demon. And then too, because the swordsmanship was such a big part of their culture, they're going to rally behind that guy because he fought off these 8 demons, even if they were just 8 generals who happened to be just as good as him. Um, and so they're going to rally behind him. So that's going to get more people to your side when you, like, I have the, great hero of the blah 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 battle. I've got Jubei. I think he actually, there is a story about Jubei. Like, I think it's a real folklore. But I mean, yeah, it's to rally people to their side too.
yeah.
It's one of those movies that if nothing else will, is going to make you want to sit up and say, I need to go read up on some more samurai, because holy crap, these guys are badass. What what other stories of this era do I simply not know about?
Well, in the demon lore, I mean, they were creative with their demon lore. I mean, the guy had bees in his back, for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Like, their demon lore was
Which,
off the chain.
yeah, which is going to make you stop and wonder, where's all this coming from? What's the mythology that's pulling all this out of? Like, yeah, that the demon lore mythology is that if this is what they're showing us, like what other crazy stuff is out there that we don't know about that we haven't seen yet? And then you start looking into it, you're like you start seeing like all these little like these like one-legged umbrella demons and all these other things that we see in other films such as Spirited Away.
Well, here's the thing about Japan. They were very into their own history, their own beliefs, their own spiritual identity until they met Christianity. And it was when Christianity was introduced that things started to change and people started to be converted over to Christianity. And a lot of it fell out of favor. A lot of the stories, a lot of they, and at one point they wanted to erase a lot of this stuff and like act like it never happened. And it took groups of them going, no, we have to remember our history. We have to keep these items. We can't just get rid of them. We can't throw them away. They're not old hat. And Japan ended up going, yeah, we're going to keep all these stories. We're going to keep all this stuff around, even though we've converted to Christianity and we have a different religion now. So, and I'm not getting like religious. I'm just saying that the fact that they kept that and the fact that they talk about it and the fact that they even make movies about it. How many other countries do you know that do that?
Well, like look at Ireland, for example. Like in the Celts, they had the same kind of philosophy, not to the extent that Japan did, but they had demons too that were helper demons. There were bad demons. There were middle of the ground demons that didn't they nobody cared about. They were like rocks, you know what I mean? Like, and they lost a lot of them, like brownies, for examples, or some of the smaller fae. Uh, when Christianity came along, the Celts were like, okay, well, fine, we don't have any of that anymore. Whereas Japan was like, oh, no, no, we still got our little, temples and our gates and the little, uh, what's the name for the little trickster raccoon guy? Starts with a T.
Tanuki.
But Tanuki, but like they still celebrate some of the trickster ones, some of the good ones that are helpers around the house and out in nature. They still celebrate some of those. They may not worship them, but they still celebrate them because it's a very important part of their culture. And they keep the temples intact and things like that. So it wasn't just the demons on a large scale like we see here in Ninja Scroll. They have all kinds of tiny little cute ones too. And you'll see more of that in Spirited Away when you see the bathhouse.
Squeak, that has to be one of your favorite anime movies.
The soot sprites, y'all! The soot sprites! Just gonna leave that there.
What do you end up at the end of the day given this?
Oof. I mean, it would be pompous to say 10 because I know there's a lot of critiquing of the anime itself and some of the scenes being a little over the top and triggery, but I don't like when people take older movies and say, "Oh, well, you can't have this because nowadays we think this or nowadays these are unacceptable things." I think we all need to grow up as a society. So tiny soapbox. We need to grow up as a society and realize things are written when they're written, and that was the thought of the time. And we're bigger people and smarter people and can handle not being part of that era. So, looking at it from that perspective, I love this anime. This is the solid 10. Like I just love how over the top it is. I love the different like Ironcaster was saying, the supreme variation in the demons, like how different they are. It's not just one cookie cutter demon. And not just that, the differences in the good guys. Like I just even the ninjas at the very beginning where it shows the different ninjas. Yeah, it's a scene full of the same person, but they're all still different. They took the time to make them different, have different personalities. So I'm gonna outrageously give it a 10 because I love this anime. And I saw it on a big screen.
I'm not jealous. Okay, maybe a little.
Ironcaster?
This is one of the animes that Alamo Drafthouse, when they show older animes, I don't know if you've been to one.
Oh yeah.
They play like different commercials and old school commercials and old school movies. Scenes from this one, especially that tree scene, they'll show at the beginning of other animes.
Half the records back there are from Alamo.
Just half.
Just half.
But yeah, so I'll give it a 10. I mean, it has rewatchability. Like you and your friend just watched it, you know, a while back. Like it is over the top. I think if you're not used to this anime style and you kind of didn't grow up with it, it might be like, oh, this is so cheesy. I can't handle this. But too bad, so sad. I'll watch it for you.
It's beautiful. The art
It's the
in this
art,
is,
isn't it? Oh, yes.
I'm sorry. There's nothing today that can compare to it. There's no, I don't care what CG. I don't care if you use enhanced with CG. I don't care. I do not care what you use. And I've seen some pretty good shit. Iron Blooded Orphans, just to name something off the back of my hand, that wasn't made more than a decade ago. So, and I love the way that looks. And this still looks better.
So for myself with this movie, I've often
Pick him if
talked
he doesn't
about
say 10.
I've often talked about the importance of
No, hover right
taking-
over him.
I'm not going to the corner for this review. So I've often talked about, and with previous movies, about taking it for what it is and not just purely look at it through the lens, through the rose tinted glasses lens. I was kind of hoping I could find mine, but this is one of the movies where it is kind of difficult for me to separate that, because this was one of those pretty influential movies for me at a young age, getting to see just what animation can be, the potential for it, for what foreign movies that aren't made within the confines of the United States can be. But as I've talked about, I think the weakest thing about the movie is probably that plot that really serves just to carry us from action scene to action scene for what little bit it does of that. So I feel like that would have to hurt it just a little bit, but I enjoy it so much that I can't help but want to give it that 4 stars, that 4.5. So we'll say 8 or 9 out of 10.
Pick one.
8. All right. We'll say 8 stars. We'll say an 8 out of 10. 4 stars.
8 out of 10.
This is one you absolutely
want to hit him?
should have. This is one you should absolutely have in your collection. Like, there's no reason not to see this movie, not to have it, not to own it. This is a definitive movie for really anime. Like, as I've talked about, for having.
How's it definitive, Mr. 8 out of 10? It's 9 out of 10 if it's definitive. You can't use fancy words like that, Ironcaster, if you're going to give it an 8.
Got to give it a 9.
9.
Fine, we'll go 9 out of 10.
No, don't let us pressure you. No.
No, let me pressure you. It's 9.
All right. Wait. Let me do this proper. Guys, this is a 10 out of 10 movie.
There you go.
You got to do the little V up by your eyeball like they do in the animes. No, hold it over here. There you go. Ooh, ooh.
Okay. So
it's 12 out of 10 for you, Loki. Is that what you're going to tell us? I'm doing all the reviews for everybody today, guys. Sorry.
You'll probably hate me.
I haven't been here in a while.
It's a 9. It's a 9 out of 10. And yes, it's my favorite. I don't think I've seen a 10 out of 10 movie, but if there was one that got close to it, it'd be this. Maybe a 9.5 out of 10. Even closer. But I won't give it a 10. Because there are some things that can easily be missed with damn, that was badass, damn, that was badass, damn, that was badass. Because you go from these just holy cow, that was killer, especially if you've never seen anything like it before. That you're almost overwhelmed and you're like, oh, by the end of it, you're like, damn.
I agree. I would only give it a 9.5 for that reason. If it were like, I would want to see it longer or like a couple more, not a mini series maybe, but I mean a Cowboy Bebop style would be nice too. Like separate it out and have, the 8 demons separate. Maybe I agree with you there. Like it does go really fast.
It does. I want more. I always expected to see a damn, and there was a series, I think, but it wasn't the same.
Oh, I haven't even touched the series.
I've
I meant like
avoided
a
it
series like
myself
this.
for I've avoided it myself kind of for the same reason that I heard it wasn't as good as the movie.
Yeah, and I'm just. It is what it is. It's a half a point because of its own success and craziness and the absolute crazy ride you're on while you're watching it.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I can get behind that because it does make you. It's one of those that you want to watch again right after you watch it, just to get the rest of the stuff. Maybe
Plus, it's a movie that you absolutely you're gonna after you see it for that first time, you're gonna have to sit up and say, "Holy crap!" And you gotta call someone and tell them, "Dude, have you seen Ninja Scroll?" This was one of those movies that just the action alone is does the marketing for it. I mean, outside of what they put in that, it's that kind of action, that kind of movie that makes you want to be an evangelical for it to go out and say, "Guys, have you seen Ninja Scroll? Have you heard the good word of Junpei?"
Let me tell you about out here at Jubei. Go knocking on doors with my samurai sword in hand. That's gonna go over well.
His poison girlfriend died for our sins.
For 40 pieces of gold, Jubei? They were a poor clan.
Well, he did all of that for 100 for that Dukan guy. I'm like, dude, you just charge him more. $100 a demon at least. But oh my gosh, the gold part at the end. Can you imagine the people that find that at the bottom of the ocean and there's this weird golden statue of some crazy guy?
And then
Like,
then someone tries to melt it down and it twitches
I
as he
mean,
comes back to life. Which, by the way, how great was that for a villain? He's this immortal guy who refuses to die and clings to life, like, and has that ultimately this ironic death at the end where that which he coveted most of all becomes his own prison.
Yeah.
isn't that called Midas? I mean, I feel like we've been here. But I feel like that's a common trope too in a lot of societies. The whole what you covet, you kind of die from.
Yep.
It's kind of an interesting idea that certain ideas like that have just sort of transcended cultures, transcended language barriers. That it's become this observable idea of irony.
No, that's not iron. That's gold, babe.
Oh,
Sorry. I'm sorry. You can put me in the back room. I'm sorry.
We're not doing that. Oh, but I think Squeaky gave it a 10. Ironcaster gave it an 8 or 9. 8, 9. 9.
we'll flip wrong
Flip a coin.
wrong nationality. It's the wrong access.
9. Anyway, I give it a 9.5. So I think
9.
9.5, 9, and a 10. Watch this. If you haven't seen this, watch it. There's absolutely no reason not to.
Oh, absolutely no reason.
Unless you're squeamish about blood or that.
Sure, but even then I feel
Raw
like
snakes.
Yeah.
With it being this kind of cartoonish, over the top, like, almost like red tinted rain with how much blood is spraying around. You can kind of get away with this one.
Well, and you've kind of glossed over the scene with the Chamberlain. That's in there too.
Oh yeah, when the Chamberlain, yeah.
Yeah, that's
when she comes back after the Koga ninjas are killed, and she comes to report, and he's mid
business.
Like, and he
stops, and he's like, report, and then he goes back to work, and you're just like, okay, all right.
So, I mean, yeah, it is an adult anime. It's not Sailor Moon, but at the same time, it's like, okay, it's amazingly done. Like, it's not gratuitous. To me, it's classy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the way it was then. This is how it was, and this is how these people felt, and it was just part of their culture. I made it quiet. Sorry.
No, I was trying not to cut off Ironcaster if he was going to say something, but he didn't say anything. So
Nope. Sorry,
I don't know my cues.
I was updating our master movie list. Just kind of moving that down into the big old queue of 116 films.
Now, if this is your top anime, what's your second?
Probably Wicked City, because it has just as much crazy. Probably Wicked City. I'm sure there's something I'm not thinking of. Ghost in the Shell. Akira's good, but I don't think Akira's like the very best ever.
No, I wouldn't. I don't even know if it would make top 5.
Yeah. Definitely Street Fighter 2, because they nailed everything about Street Fighter. It's the only actual Street Fighter movie, and it's just Street Fighter 2, the movie. If you go out there and look, because you're going to catch like 20 million different Street Fighter things. It is just Street Fighter 2, the movie, and from the 90s. That is an absolutely beautiful, kick-ass movie. Everything looks right. Everything feels right. Everything tracks. If I'm going to make a Street Fighter movie, that's the movie I'd make. So
I'm a little bit torn now because there's a few of the Studio Ghibli films that kind of spring to mind for me, and I'll sort of weigh it between Princess Mononoke and Laputa Castle in the Sky, as being if I could only pick one of those two, which one would take that slot for me?
Yeah, I like Ninja Scroll. I wouldn't say it's my favorite anime, but it's up there. But it's not. Ghibli's certainly my favorite. Probably Spirited Away, if not Howl's Moving Castle. But it's up there. Second.
I didn't grow up watching those.
I didn't either. I didn't start watching them until the late 90s. I mean, yeah.
It was later for me. Like it would have been in the 2000s when they were airing on like Cartoon Network. Was when I started getting exposed to all those films, which was around the same time. I'm also starting to go online and starting to look up more anime. So it was part of that similar kind of, we'll say stage one was, just watching whatever's airing on Cartoon Network. Stage two is, oh, I have an internet access now. What anime can I find?
See, for me, I was part of the early internet nerd culture where we were all doing our LAN parties. We'd all watch these obscure animes. We'd all, watch things like Bubba Hotep and Kung Fu Hustle and,
Yep.
And
nerds
while playing StarCraft and hauling our computers everywhere. That's when we saw all of these was that's when Ghibli started its rise, and we started doing that, and we'd watch those, and we'd watch things like Ninja Scroll and Akira and stuff like Wicked City. So yeah, that's where I got introduced to all this was in the big LAN party nerd era. Go to your friend's house that had an ISDN line.
Yeah.
So there's certain moments about those years back then, getting caught up in whatever the current big anime of the time was. Like for me, at one point it was like Inuyasha, getting drawn into that, which was another one of those feudal Japan set stories that just shows you all these crazy demons, all this crazy stuff out there that you've otherwise never heard of. You're like, where's all of this coming from? And that's just it's ultimately just a reflection of sort of a earlier time for myself anyway, where so much of this is kind of drawing back to that makes me look on it so fondly.
Inuyasha is one of those series. I feel like if Sailor Moon and Ninja Scroll had a kid, because it's got that whole friendship theme, and it's a series, and it's kind of got its silly moments, you know. But it's
But
also got some of the blood and the ninja pieces and the hard hitting stuff that Ninja Scroll has. Like it's not afraid of death or a little bit of gore here. Or I think it even has some boob action in it every now and
oh yeah,
then.
it's got just a little touch of that kind of that dark fantasy.
Squeaker knows what she's talking about. So is it all about the art, or is it about the story, or is it about, I mean, a lot of people it's got to be everything, Loki. Some people think, well, it just needs to look good. I don't care if it's zany and crazy and they talk nine kinds of crazy crap, as long as it looks good. Is what's more important, the story or the fact that it looks nice?
Well, you gonna go Ironcaster?
Well,
Yours.
it's not just any one thing because it's many pieces of a lot of these little things. The action's going to draw you in. It can be one of the first selling points. Uh, I mean, just to kind of another franchise that kind of has that good example. Something like Dragon Ball Z. You're flipping through the channels, you see these guys screaming their heads off as rocks are floating up around them. You're like, what the frick am I watching? And you sit down, you're starting to see all this stuff, all these little mystic elements are kind of brought in there. You kind of have these characters wanting to do good, wanting to save the world. There's that heroics. There's some familiar elements alongside all this unknown. Yes, you have the animation, which is obviously going to be a big draw. It's not just any one thing.
Squeaker.
It, it depends on the series. It really does. Like take something as well known as Sailor Moon. The anime that came out was nothing like the original manga art style. The manga art style was art. The anime that was given to us was Japanese animation. That's standard, kind of flat but Japanese style. They redid it recently for Sailor Moon Crystal, and it's more the manga kind of style drawing. So it is more artsy. But you did that for the story. You did that for what it was. Same with like Magical Girl Madoka or I guess Dragon Ball Z. I never really got into Dragon Ball Z. I'm not a yelly kind of person. I don't do Naruto. I don't like the ones that scream at you a lot. Um, so it could be the storyline for those because that the Japanese animation style was pretty standard for a while, but then you came out with ones like Ninja Scroll that was this completely different, hard hitting imagery, and they took that imagery and incorporated into it those scenes like we saw where it was really an absolute change from a realistic color palette to not only enhance the fact that hey they're demons and it's going to be a little otherworldly, but it to showcase the fact that hey we're not just about this flatline Japanese animation style drawing. We do have art, and obviously Ninja Scroll is not for the story because the subplot's barely there. You know what I mean? It's about these demons. It's about the fights between them, and it is showcasing that style. I feel like there's parts of like even Wicked City or Perfect Blue, like even the Ghibli art style. It's he would go on site to research a place to make sure he copied it exactly. You know, they wanted to showcase that they were artists in their own right, and it wasn't the same as American style animation, which was cartoonish at the time. So for some, yes, it's the story. I like the storyline behind Sailor Moon. I think it's cool. But I also love Ninja Scroll for its art. So it just depends on what you're going to get out of it. But I think in the whole picture of it, Japan does a great job of combining both of them to make you want to watch these things, except for Naruto. Nobody likes Naruto.
But then even with that, if you don't have the story to back it all up, yeah, you've got some flashy stuff that looks good that, you're gonna kind of remember for, being this little bit of footage, but it's these characters stay with you for, years to come where you feel yourself wanting to go back, wanting to see their stories.
Well, like Full Metal Alchemist. Who hasn't watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood a million times and cried? Besides me.
Ed.
Ed.
Word.
Edward.
2 words.
Oh, yeah.
No, there are these scenes in in Wicked City, the cityscape and the cars, and that is the Japan that I remember seeing in a lot of different, like Tokyo. There's Tokyo City, and you've got all these cars that are like these 80s, 90s cars that they drew, along with the cityscape that was always like, you've got these gray buildings, but then you'll have like these neon lights, or the way they did it made it look cool as shit to live in Japan in the 80s and the 90s. I mean,
Well,
that was always something I loved about any of the stuff that happened in like Tokyo, or in any of Japanese the cities in Japan. It always looked badass. It was always like, holy shit. Unless it was some like, post-apocalyptic hellscape, then they'd always show you like buildings. Japan was destroyed.
So
It's
with
just a wasteland.
with that
Some
art
more
style
story.
in mind, Loki, have you seen Gunsmith Cats?
No.
Oh. Okay, we might. I think we might have to push this as a little talk. Another anime
How
talk.
new is it?
This was from around that same era. This is
Shit. No.
early 90s.
Is that
Oh
the
my God,
is that
like
the one where they're the girls in Chicago? I
yes.
think.
Oh
Yes.
my.
Oh,
The
I've
way
seen
they
like a tiny piece of it, and I haven't gone back to it.
the way they draw a Shelby Cobra.
Oh, I can imagine. I think I know what you're talking about. I do. I remember. I definitely remember the car. If it was a Shelby Cobra, then I remember the car. But yeah, it
Yeah.
just sucked that.
And
I mean, I was a damn teenager when I got into this. I was around 11 or 12, I think, but not. It wasn't until I started like combing through the library. You get one movie a weekend, kid. Okay, that's a long time to go through the shelf at Hollywood Video and then Blockbuster looking for movies like this. And I was like, holy shit, that's badass. And it was cool that I had friends that enjoyed it too. That were like, dude, Ninja Scroll is fucking badass. Yeah, it is. Let's keep watching it. Epping, my bad. Pops is gonna hate me. He's gonna hate me.
The one nice thing with Gunsmith Cats, it's only like 3 episodes, 30-minute episodes, so we could basically fit it in as a talk hard episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So SQUEEKA, what do you got coming up? Do you have anything coming up? Are you going on anybody's channel? Are you doing good?
Not that I'm aware of. I know now that summertime's here, Pops wants to. Oh, I can't even remember. What was it? I think Blazing Saddles. I have to watch that for the first time. Oh my God! Speaking of watching for the first time, guys, I watched Airplane for the first time about a week ago. That movie is wild, y'all. Wild. Okay.
Surely you can't be serious.
That movie, I paused that movie probably like 800 times and was like, wait, what? Did that just excuse me? What? Like I'm
We're all counting on you.
that one, oh my God, I was crying so hard.
Roger.
What's your Victor? But yeah, I mean, I knew some of the quotes, but so yeah, I'm supposed to talk to Pops. He wants me to watch some shows and do some things with him off and on. But other than that, I know Beard and I are going to try to maybe get back into some 7 Days to Die and game a little bit more. They just, whenever people say, hey, I'll probably try to see what I can do. But that's not much. Just resting, chilling out for the summer. And I'll be here next Tuesday.
Hanging out with us.
Hanging out with y'all because y'all keep letting me come back. I don't know why. I feel like I've been a complete goober nut this whole time because I'm like in that weird, I haven't done this for a while. So I'm like absolutely terrified and giggly at the same time. So like, what am I doing here, y'all? But I don't. What are we doing next week? Is it the anniversary next week? Right?
3 years, I think.
I've only been here for one of those.
I think we were, let's see, 6-3. I think we bumped Spirited away for.
Okay, was it the anniversary after that? I don't
Yeah,
know.
and then June 10th will be 3 years of Talk Hard.
Oh.
I was just hanging out on the internet, looking around, and I was like, "Who's this Pops guy?" And they were in here talking about Halo. And I was like, "No, it's this. No, it's that." And Pops was finally like, "Loki, do you want to just come on and explain it?" And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Okay, you're telling me all this information, but why isn't the show telling me this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just, I read all the books. I read all the Halo books. I played all the Halo games. This is, where the Covenant came from and what the Covenant do. And this is why that chick doesn't belong with them because of this, that, and the other. And this is absolute horse shit because the chief took off his helmet and showed his face and doesn't ever do that."
He took out his butt chip.
Took out his butt chip. We had Cherry, whatever her name was, Strawberry Spartan.
We had so many nicknames.
Hot Pocket.
Oh, there's Doctor, not Dave Chappelle. Even the show started getting in on it by giving them characters names like Squirrel.
We gave the better nicknames. I'm just saying.
Oh, I need to watch the. Oh gosh, I have it saved. I haven't watched it yet. The one, the movie, the one that y'all have this Talk Hard. Hold on, now I gotta go to my movie folder because I know it's in there. Hold on, y'all. Having a mental breakdown. Give me a second.
I'm actually a little bit on the edge of my seat to find out what movie.
No, it's the one. What is her name? It has Debbie in it. You said I sounded like the lady from that movie.
Does she do Dallas?
Wow, no. Sorry, guys. It's gonna be one of those kind of times.
Is it Tremors?
Oh, I haven't seen Tremors. Actually.
Wait, what?
What are you wanting?
Sorry, you and Loki spoke at the same time. I didn't catch that.
I haven't seen Tremors.
You can make penetration even with the elephant gun.
Pump Up the Volume. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yes.
Yes.
Pump Up the Volume.
Gotta watch that.
Which we have coming up in June.
Which is what the show's named after.
That's the one I have to watch before then.
Well, actually, the show after our 3rd year anniversary is going to be Pump Up the Volume.
Would he even... I'm going to have to talk to Pops because he hadn't even named it Talk Hard. They were just talking about Halo. It was just reviewing Halo when they started. That's all they were doing. We didn't do that till we did it on Talk Hard the 2nd season. But that 1st season, it wasn't Talk Hard yet because he didn't name it Talk Hard until after we were talking about Pump Up the Volume. In fact, I love that movie and he loves that movie. And that's what they say in the movie is Talk Hard.
Oh, so should I wait and watch it till the week before we do?
No, just watch it.
Okay.
Well, you'll watch it again. Trust me. It's one of those movies where you're like, I'm going to watch this again. That introduced me to Christian Slater, and I was like, okay, this is a badass movie. And then I watched Gleaming the Cube, and I watched Broken Arrow, and all this other shit. And then he went poof and just disappeared.
I mean, the name Christian Slater sounds familiar to me, but I don't know if I've seen any of his stuff.
He was a teen heartthrob.
I think that's why I know him, is because I've seen his name. Oh, Teen Vogue, look, he's on the... You know what I mean? Like,
Heathers, you got to watch Heathers, too, SQUEEKA. You've got to watch Heathers. Heathers is like the Mean Girl movie.
I've seen the musical. Does that count?
Well,
no?
we also have that. That's what we have lined up after Pump Up the Volume. So
really?
Yeah.
So the Mean Girl Summer?
Oh, it's like Christian Slater month.
So what do you got going on, Ironcaster?
I'm
helping Loki.
Thank you.
Let's see. So here in about an hour or so, I'll be on hanging out with T-shirt to I don't know. I think we'll be talking about some tabletop stuff. But Monday nights will remind channel we're doing the Mech Pit chat where we're talking about some big robots and kind of whatever else I kind of feel like talk about that week. So just kind of be ever present, slow growing push with that. I think I'll be on with Brandon, the anime guy, tomorrow to talk anime.
Cool.
Like there's a couple shows from this current season that have been pretty good so far. The new Mobile Suit Gundam is really great, is really solid. Especially if you want to see like Xeon properly be the good guys and win the 1 year war. We get a alternate timeline.
Oh, really?
It's all built on the idea of what if Char stole the Gundam?
Nothing good could come from that.
Well, you'll just have to wait and see.
I like the Three Stooges. What? Okay, we're getting out of here. Yeah, that's it. After 4 hours of streaming, I'm like...
What have you got coming up, Loki?
Should have a game stream coming up soon. I know we're going to do one Wednesday and Thursday. So if not tonight, then it'll be Wednesday and Thursday. And we're going to finish up Doom. I've already finished it on like the highest difficulty, but now it won't let me go back and play that version because if you die, and it erases your game. So, yeah.
Are you PC or are you
PC?
Console. Do you ever do the thing where you save your save in another spot? And
it's like a full playthrough, on the super hard one. So I beat it on Ultra Nightmare because I wanted the skin on Ultra Nightmare. Well, it won't let me go back and replay through any of that. So it's like 99% complete, 97% complete, 96% complete, 100, 100, 100. But I didn't 100% everything because I thought, I'll just go back and do it again.
Yeah, with your fancy new skin.
It won't let you. You got to start a different save. So, maybe.
Oh. Well, that's...
Yeah. But I've got another save that was where we were at.
So what are you going to play after that? Do you have anything?
Claire Expedition 33. I still haven't played that. So when I boot it up, I'll do it live for the first time. Play that.
You sure you're not getting all hyped and excited for the Switch 2 next week?
No, absolutely not. Some people already have their Switches. No. Switch has like what, 2 games? Everything else is old Nintendo Switch 1 games. So no.
Let me whip out my Game Boy. I'll be all right. My purple little GBA.
Get the SP. Got the nightlight.
Ooh. Every girl needs a nightlight.
Cabantino Caberman, she says the soundtrack for Expedition 33 is really good. I hope so. It's on the way. I haven't even listened to it yet, and I already ordered the soundtrack to it. So
they re-released Lunar Silver Star Story, and I'm so excited.
Complete? Yep.
Yes, I have the original games and an original PlayStation 1 that I play them on every now and then.
Did you get the one with the book?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one I've got.
The only thing that makes me mad is my ex stole the map. The little cloth map. I was so mad. So mad. But yeah, I play that periodically, so I'm so excited for that. If I streamed, I would stream that, but I love that game if you've never played Lunar. And it's got animation style cutscenes. It's really pretty though.
It's like has the same kind of cutscenes like Xenogears and games like that have. Mm-hmm. Chrono Trigger on PS1 had those animated cutscenes.
Yes.
That were very good. All right. We will keep rambling if we don't get out of here. So we are going to get out of here. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for hanging out with Pops not being here. I am not a worthy substitute for the man, but I tried my very best.
You were amazing. Thank you for leading us.
So thank you, SQUEEKA, and can't wait to have Pops back. We guys take care. Be excellent to each other. Always speak friend to Ender. That's the only way I know how to end the stream. Bye.
Later.
Bob Ross, you'll never see me tripping. Got the vision, I don't even need assistance. Bob Ross, all I do is chill. My life is a thrill.